The twisters came without warning, damaging more than 30 homes and businesses in LaSalle and Windsor, but incredibly, no one was seriously hurt.
Some employees expressed concern about not knowing the exact number when it comes to cuts that will satisfy the company.
Jim, there's no doubt that opioid misuse is a major problem here in Windsor and across the country. But many community organizations here say it's actually crystal meth that's become our biggest problem.
They say they are going to judge the overall beauty of the towns and their blooms, but they say the competition is about much more than just that.
Christie, what's the situation like now?
Thanks so much, Beverly. Right now we're in a situation of cleanup. People are just bailing out their basements. They're ripping out everything that was inside their home. You can see the trash behind me here, and it's all going to the curbside as people are just trying to dry up and clean out. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these people are worried about whether or not they're going to be covered when it comes to their insurance. We had a similar storm here back in 2016. That hit about 3,000 homes. This year, the current numbers right now, the most up-to-date ones are about 2,000 homes have been flooded. Now, the mayor is actually going to the province to ask for disaster assistance relief with this one. We got some of that relief back in 2016. We're hoping that we can get it again here because a lot of people can't be covered anymore from their insurance companies for flooding because of what happened last year. So these storms are supposed to be 1 in 100 years, and here we are in a situation where we've actually been hit twice within 1 year's time. So people are trying to dry up, clean out, and a lot of people are frustrated here in Windsor today.
And give us a sense in terms of the water receding. I mean, we're looking at videos right after because the rain came down so quickly of flooded streets. What is it like now?
Well, it's a beautiful day here, sunny and dry on most of our roads. The exact opposite situation here yesterday. You couldn't believe it. No one that I've spoken to can ever remember the city streets being flooded in the way that they were. And I don't just mean side streets like the one we're standing on here today. I'm talking about major city arteries that connect everything. It happened in the late afternoon as people were heading home from work. It was rush hour traffic, and the city was in complete gridlock as pools of water just started to flood the streets. People were abandoning their cars as their cars were stalling out as they were driving into the waters. And it could have been a dangerous situation. Fortunately, no one was hurt. But a lot of vehicles are actually being repaired today as well. And we've never seen anything like that before with the number of vehicles that were affected by this one. It really spread itself out through the entire city, east to west. And unfortunately, a lot of people had to wait a long period of time. Some people reported waiting up to 4 hours before they were able to get home yesterday.
Yeah, and a lot of cleanup left. Okay, Christie Bezaire, thank you.
Christie Bezaire shares an exclusive, never-before-seen look at the moment the storm hit Christie, the manufacturing plant.
That's right, Jim. This video puts us directly in the path of the storm. It shows us just how powerful this storm truly was, and perhaps how lucky we all are that the outcome wasn't different.
It starts off just like any other storm. A little rain. Then it picks up. But 4 different closed-circuit television cameras at Cowtex capture the moment a tornado rips the plant apart.
Roughly about 60% of the production hall roof was ripped off. The west wall was blown down, and the north wall, where the material feed system and the silos are.
First, a power blast at 7:18 p.m. Seconds later, winds so strong they blow 2 transport trucks together, knock down this brick wall on the upper left-hand side of your screen. And this video from the plant's north substation demonstrates just how powerful the storm was, completely ripping apart the steel roof and walls.
My first thought was I just couldn't believe there wasn't a fatality.
Director of Operations Steve Phillips says about 40 workers were on the shop floor but moved to the cafeteria after a power bump shut down the plant's robots.
That was a huge contributor to the fact that there were no fatalities.
The few workers left on the floor only had seconds to react.
You could see the forklifts just stood where they were left, where the people ran from the forklifts and basically went under whatever they could find, whether it was a table, a conveyor, and just hang on while the storm went through.
Amazingly, when the storm cleared, all employees were accounted for, and no one was seriously hurt. But the next big crisis was making sure the plant could keep running.
The first 3 days, you're just talking with the customer because they want to know how bad the damage is, and they're trying to make an assessment of should they stay and wait for it to be repaired, or should they move their equipment out and have it built somewhere else.
The Cowtex plant employs 180 people. The company manufactures gas tanks for 6 different automotive companies, which need those parts on time.
Fortunately, by the Saturday, it happened on the Wednesday. All the customers had decided to stay with us.
They're a major employer in the city of Windsor, and we wanted to do everything we can to make sure that their business would stay in the city of Windsor, could get back on their feet.
Kautex devised a plan to build a plant within a plant.
And in 6 days, we had that plant up and running, and then the rest of the main plant was a construction zone.
We mobilized all the resources we could mobilize to help get the power back on, get the roads open, and do everything we could do to help Kautex.
At one point, over 400 people were working on the plant every day.
And that was working 24 hours with floodlights to get the plant back.
The plant was saved, along with all the jobs in it.
Although it's been a year, work still continues on the plant here. It was actually running off of temporary power up until last month when the transformers were reinstalled during the July shutdown. The roof above the warehouse is still being repaired. Jim?
Windsor's drug problem is one that's often found tucked away in alleys or in dark crevices like this vacant property.
Some of these wrappers and needles seem pretty fresh. This could be literally one night's worth.
Councillor Reno Bordelin shows us some of the problem residents in his ward are worried about.
I mean, you can see all the paraphernalia, all those blue tops are needles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These guys find the needles in their backyard all the time.
During our walk through downtown alleys, we meet Hang Pham, a downtown resident and landlord. Pham says she sees drug users in the alley every day. During our interview, Pham is confronted by a man she says is not one of her tenants.
Every day, I bring that shit there, you walk in and grab it all up and throw it in the garbage.
If you continue, I call police.
Call the police.
See? Call the police. Yeah.
Because they know too. They also know that I'm the one that brings that shit there so that those people can survive. And you come in every goddamn day and you throw out everything that I give them. Everything. You are
Pham says she's afraid to leave her home at night. She says one time she asked the drug users to stop.
They beaten me so badly. I have to go to emergency.
She says she's owned this property for 21 years. The AIDS Committee of Windsor says every year the number of needles given out through the harm reduction program increases. The program aims to reduce HIV, hepatitis C, and other diseases that could be passed through sharing needles.
Last year we gave out 596,000.
Close to 83% of those needles were returned to the AIDS Committee last year, which also hands out safety disposal bins.
This year I'm predicting that we're going to be giving out probably close to 90,000 more than we did last year.
Kingbile believes the increase in needles could be due to an increase in certain types of drugs.
Right now there's a problem with crystal meth.
Christie Bezaire joins us with the story.
Michelle, like most Canadian boys, Parker Tessier has been on the ice before, but today's experience was much different, one that he won't soon forget.
Parker Tessier is a funny and adventurous 14-year-old who loves hockey. He also has a rare genetic disorder.
It's called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It's a deteriorating neuromuscular disease that makes my muscles really weak and I can't do some of the things I used to.
Things like playing road hockey or, more recently, sledge hockey.
I just couldn't push myself, so that's why I didn't do it anymore.
That's because Duchenne muscular dystrophy, or DMD, causes the muscles to deteriorate. It affects 1 in 2,500 boys, starting with the legs.
Some people think, oh, he's in a wheelchair, he just can't walk. But it doesn't just affect my legs, it affects my whole body. So I can't even lift my arms up anymore.
The average life expectancy for a boy with DMD is about 18 years of age.
Parker says instead of sitting at home, he thought,
why not make a bucket list and do some cool stuff?
We really want to be able to have the opportunity to do all these incredible things before he physically can't anymore.
And today, that's happening.
Good to see you guys. How you doing?
When Windsor's hockey community found out getting back on the ice was on Parker's list, they wanted to give him the National League treatment. First, he watched them in action, along with former NHLer Steve Ott.
I'm going to sign this up to you, all right? To Parker? Is that
Yeah. Cool? Parker and his family were invited to skate with the pros.
Here's Zach Kazian. I heard you like the Oilers. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Also NHLers Dalton Prout and Matt Pumple, AHLers and Windsor Spitfires.
Okay, whoever's goalie, don't go easy on me.
First, some instruction from Toronto Maple Leafs assistant coach DJ Smith.
Where's low blocker?
Right there.
There you go. That's the best shot in hockey. Oh!
And after a few tries...
Yeah. Yay.
Okay, now we're going to go to the other side.
Okay.
But Parker's passion was playing net. Today, another go at it.
Right up on that stick, right there. There you go. Oh!
Yay.
Two more.
Then gifts from the big guys.
You have to promise me to put this on over that, though. Right?
Yeah, I will.
Oh, Otter got to see it first.
Hey.
And then, just some ice time.
I got one. Woo! It's awesome. It's the best thing ever.
Absolutely made our day.
Thanks.
All this stuff, you come out here, it's not as hard anymore, man. Seriously, you made our day. Thank you.
Giselle Tessier wants people to know how serious this disease is, so more is done to find a cure. She says this bucket list is not about giving up hope, but rather celebrating the time they have.
That's what life gave us, and we can lay down and cry about it and be upset, or you can face it and say, what are we going to do?
Parker has already checked 3 things off his list, including going to a demolition derby. Other items include driving a convertible, getting his driver's license, and getting mechanical arms to help him be more independent. The Tessier family hopes people will consider donating to muscular dystrophy research to help find a cure. Michelle?